Sunday school, but it's a way you live with it every day. My personal opinion, if you summarize Christianity, is it is love. And if I apply love to everything, I think that's the simplest and the easiest approach to Christianity. Growing up in Egypt as a Christian person, as a Coptic, I think love to the family, respect to the parents, caring for other people, and probably caring for other people what made me to go to medical school. When I was growing up in Egypt, of course, we go to Sunday school. We used to go to Sunday school every Sunday, and also to the Bible studies of, it's called in Arabic, جمعية أصدقاء الكتاب المقدس, which is the Friends of the Bible society or group. And through that, we used to study the Bible. So yes, I was involved.
Yes, I did. I did teach Sunday school. I also participated at the time in the student union elections in Egypt. So I had my share. All of them were very interesting experiences, but the one which really stands out in my mind is teaching Sunday school in a small village where there was no bus line, and they wanted somebody to get there somehow. So I used to bike 17 kilometers, that's about 11 miles, to teach Sunday school and come back. It was a small community with a very small church, and that was really an enjoyment for me to do. And at that time, I was still a kid, so to speak.
I mean, there are a lot of things that add up to an experience, but the most wonderful experience that we have had when we're growing up is the relationship that we had in Alexandria with the monasteries around us. And we used to cherish those. I mean, we used to take off as high school kids or college kids and go join either a group or go join on our own to go to St. Mina Monastery, which have provided a big blessing to us. The one distinct monastery that I really remember, because St. Mina at that time was not completely developed. Pope Carolus was still in the process of developing the monastery. It was a blessing for us to go there, visit. But the one that we really cherish to go to is the Virgin Mary Paramos, which was at that time, now it's very easy to get to, but at that time we have to go to the Syrian monastery and then walk from there because there was no road. So we had to walk from one monastery to the other in order to have the blessing of that monastery. And of course we've really have grown into a golden era for the Coptic Church in Egypt, because at the time I was growing, this was the beginning of all the very well-educated priests, very well-educated monks. Was a very great revival of the church, great people that have started to take religion as their, very seriously and take pride in leaving the world life and dedicating themselves to the Lord, whether through priesthood or monkhood. And that was really something that we would not have traded for anything else.
From my personal experience, most of the Copts in the immigrant countries are very supportive to Egypt in general. Personally, I go back many times every year to do surgery for patients there. I've been invited many times in universities and big medical centers to teach. I helped to develop most of the modern spine surgery technology there. So not only myself as an example, I would say the majority of Copts in the other countries other than Egypt are very involved in supporting Egypt to develop, to progress, scientifically, and also with the money which most of the Copts transfer back home. It's very important source for the economy of Egypt. For the Copts outside Egypt, they have to support the Copts in Egypt, and that support can be financially, politically, morally, and also help them to develop education-wise, helping them in the new information technology, computers, learning the state-of-the-art specialties and technology and so on. That's part. Besides that, we have to remember that we are not isolated from our families and relatives and friends in Egypt, so we have to continue to give them the moral support, and sometimes we have to give them political support too.
Actually, no, in Egypt I did not even know at that time that there was such thing as human rights. No, of course I was not aware that, as I said before, that during my youth there was not too much problems between Christians and Muslims. Once I graduated and I start looking for jobs, then I start feeling that there is some kind of problem being Christian to find the job which you really like. I think the most important thing is to try to get the human rights to Egyptian Copts. This is the foremost important issue of the Christians in United States, because I think they desire, their hope, and they really want from us is to defend their human rights. One example for me, of course, when our Pope was in exile in one of the monasteries, I was very active in going to the consulate almost every week and raising my voice and writing letters, collecting signatures, and going to protest what's going on in Egypt with the Copts. I think two things which is important for the Christians who are in the United States. I think they should always defend Coptic rights. They should find a way to get the human rights of the Egyptians, or the Coptic Egyptian, to at least the Congress to know about them. The people in the United States generally, the media, they should know that there is really a lot of Copts who cannot achieve any human rights in Egypt, building churches or finding a job or going to the military. So that's one thing. The other thing, which again I stressed again, that they should really be close to the church, if not for themselves. Of course it should be for themselves first, but it should be for their children. Egypt as a whole, of course, is our mother country. I think we will think more positively about Egypt as a whole when we feel like the Christians and the Copts especially, they start getting their human rights. Once we feel like we are really Egyptians and our human rights start to be recognized, then of course we can have more activities towards Egypt as a whole and towards the whole population of Egypt. But I think right now, I think we should concentrate on the human rights of the Egyptian Copts, because there is really no one else can talk about the Egyptian human rights other than the Egyptians themselves. Of course, I am in the medical field. I'm planning myself is after maybe a year or two, I was going to volunteer and go and do